Today I'm getting started with BD's face. The 3D printer left a bunch of pretty noticeable layer lines, and I don't want them. I want this to look like one piece of stamped metal that they made a droid out of. So I'm going to start hitting that with some sandpaper, and then we'll see what else I have to do on it. Right here is where I decide to be lazy, or as I like to call it, efficient. Well, it's become apparent that sanding alone isn't going to cut it. So I'm going to take this filler and I'm going to goop in the low points, bring them up, and smooth out the surface. This is really my first video working on camera, so I apologize for all the close-ups on my arm. Remember to always wear your respirator, because sanding stuff makes a bunch of fine dust that you do not want in your lungs. Yeah, not happy with that surface, so I added more mud and gonna repeat the process again until I am happy. Now the surface is finally getting there, and I'm ready to switch back up to my 400 grit sandpaper to get a nice smooth finish on it before we get it all primed up and ready to paint. One of the cool things about BD is getting the upgrades as you play through the game. On Kashyyyk, he gets an upgrade to overcharge electrical panels to control equipment. That upgrade comes with an extra bit of kit installed on top of his head, which is connected through these fat wires to a panel that's been removed from the side of his head. It's asymmetrical and it's hacky and it's very Star Warsy, and I love it. So what I'm doing here is cutting out that panel to put this extra bit on. It was kind of slow going at first because I didn't know what I was doing. I'd never done this before. I didn't want to use a rotary tool because I didn't think I would be able to get the corners precise enough, and I didn't want to have to reprint his whole head. But eventually I figured out a way that worked for me, just applying constant pressure and slowly pushing the hot blade through the outline of the panel. Here's another image I eventually found for reference. It was easy to find, I just never looked. So my inside of his head doesn't match the reference inside of his head. Also, the design of my head top box is not the same as in that reference because I made my own. If you look closely right here, you can see me decide that I can't trust autofocus on my camera anymore. So now I gotta use manual focus all the time. On the home stretch now. Almost got this panel out. And then I just have to sand all the edges and even them out. And then design and make the interior part. Okay, done. Now to hold it up and show it off. Oh yeah, in frame next time. This is the little inside design I made for his head. You can see the tabs on the side to glue it on, and I just did some circuitry looking bits and a heat sink, some little doodads, and somewhere to put the wires in from his head top processor. Okay, so his neck. It prints in 9 pieces. You got a 2-part pin at the bottom, 2 outsides and 2 insides to make it extend, a 2-part tilt at the top, plus the round bit in the head that holds the whole thing together. Every joint has a ratchet and detents in it to hold its position, so you have to be careful not to oversand it. Look at that good looking cutout. Every once in a while, I do something right. Since I have this resin printer and some relatively clear resin, I thought that I would make a transparent lens for BD-1's eye. These printers work by masking off an LCD screen and shooting UV LEDs through it, and so it cures one layer of resin at a time, so you might as well do 2 of them if you're gonna do one, because one of them might break, and it's the same print time anyway. Got a bunch of pieces I can glue up before paint, so I'm going to do that. Once the feet are glued, I file and sand away the seam line to make it look like it's all 1 foot, but this montage is getting pretty long already, so I'm not going to show you more sanding. While I'm doing that, I wanted to point out that I got these files off of Thingiverse. User fine_engineer designed it. His ears. These things were such a pain to get right after they printed weird that this guy almost ended up deaf because I almost gave up on him. Hey, if you stuck around this long, then you and I like the same kind of videos, and you're my kind of people.